Good morning, guys. So today is 8th of July and it's almost 11 minutes past 8 a.m. Eastern Time. Apologies, I could not produce anything yesterday. Long weekends from the US market perspective and busy weekends. So let's start with the economic calendar. So what we have today is we have APA Weekly Statistics Bulletin. So actually not much on the calendar. Tomorrow we have FOMC meeting minutes and unemployment claim on Thursday. Friday, federal budget balance. So very light this week on the calendar side. Let's see what's developing on the market, on the news. So US stock futures mixed after new tariffs, longer deadline. So the deadline for tariff has been changed from July 9th to 1st of August. Trump sends out tariff letters, extend levy deadline. What's moving the market? Goldman Sachs ups S&P target on supportive policy. Amazon, Tesla, Oracle rose pre-market, and phase JP Morgan failed. So now we are getting into from next week. We are getting middle of July to, I think 17th or 18th of July will be 19th, I think. One second, what is the Friday? So let me see. I think, yeah. So 18th, I think 17th or 18th is JP Morgan or banking financial sector earnings coming out. Let's see. Okay, let's see how the week is going so far. So I put my weekly market probability map. So this week's entire week looks bullish. So that's the thing. And thank you very much for following me on Twitter, on YouTube, and visiting my website. TWT Learning provides financial markets education and research. Our course actually identifies and teaches high probability investing and trading setups for longer term, medium term, short term. Please reach out to us on admin@twtlearning.com or visit my website and you will find a contact us form and you can reach out to us. So thank you very much for following us on Twitter, subscribing to YouTube. Appreciate if you can. If you're not a subscriber, I'll appreciate if you can subscribe, follow, and like on both the social media. That encourages me to come up with more and more stuff. So let's get into the market. Okay. So what is happening on the futures? Let me see. That's it. Okay. So Nasdaq futures. This is the daily chart. We have broken the previous all-time high. We are a little bit tilting a little bit. So if this trend line has been taken out, if I take this one, this has been taken out, so probably I run a little bit to the upside of this trend line, and then slowly, gradually we grind down with the tariff uncertainty still looming. So that is one of the possibility. Let's look into S&P futures. So S&P futures is hovering above this trend line, but there is a little bit of a tilt, and we have broken the all-time high. Ideally, it should come to retest this line before it goes further higher. Right. So let's go and see what is happening on volatility side. So on the volatility UVXY. So UVXY is sliding along this trend line. So nothing much. We are still in a getting smaller range by the day. And let's look at QQQ. So where it comes to QQQ, let me just. So we have broken this trend line, and what is happening here? Okay, so we are going to range between this trend line and most likely, it seems like the retest of this trend line is possible. That means 549 to I would say 555 to 549 is possible. So on the top side, 555, on the downside, 549. SPY. SPY is heading lower. So if I take this one, SPY can test 622, and then there is a very high possibility of SPY getting back to 614. We have this gap still unfilled. Okay, let's go to our big 6 or 7, 8 stocks. So in the case of Tesla, we had a negative news. We filled this gap. Now, are we going to fill this gap immediately? We have yet to see. At the moment, Tesla is 297. We have seen a low of almost 289, 288 yesterday. Let's see if we are able to break this 299, 300 gap. Right? If not, then we are coming down to at least 288. And there is a possibility that if we go and this, if we go below 295, there's a possibility that we come back to 288 again. Okay, and the front of when it comes to what do you call it, NVDA. NVDA is, we have seen 160, almost 161. So NVIDIA is going to most likely remain between 161 to 157 range. In the case of AMD is sliding down. I think, in my best opinion, AMD will come to test 131 at some point, but at the moment it seems like it's holding 133, almost 133, 130, yeah, 133 levels, so 133 to 138 range most likely, or if it goes a little bit higher, 133 to 140 range for a bit. So where it comes to, 1 second, okay, so Google is going to maintain 177, 176 to 180 range. Same goes with AVGO, getting into a range trade until unless it breaks 277 on the top side, on the upside. Yeah, so 277 and 278 is acting as a resistance. Apple broke through this trend line after a couple of attempts, and now there is a possibility that Apple may come down to 205. Apple's earnings is later this month. If I am not wrong, I think it is on let me see. Okay, so end of this month. Yeah, so it's 31st of July. All right, and let's go to Microsoft. Microsoft is facing almost 500 is holding on the top side, which is a psychological barrier as well, and we can see a resistance building around that level. Amazon is also challenging. Amazon is challenging the high. What we have seen is 225.05, and it's around 224. This, if 225 is clear, then we probably are away. We are heading to 230. All right, let's go to what's happening in the other asset class. Gold is coming back. It's in the range, broke through this trend line, went up a little bit. Now it's just holding. Uncertainty still prevails, but I think market is getting used to the trade tariff and trade tariff related news. Oil has moved a little bit higher. So oil has actually, after a sharp dip, oil needs to hold 66 on the downside in order to move a little bit higher to at least fill this, I think, fair value gap, which is around 72. Right, and let's see, US dollar is pulling back a little bit. I think this is the time of the year that US dollar, seasonality-wise, goes a little bit higher. So let's see where it goes. Can it break 99 on the top side? So dollar index yields have moved a little bit higher after making a double bottom on 10-year yields. And when it comes to Bitcoin, so Bitcoin is still in the range, trading around the upper end of the range. So it goes to 109, 109K, 110K, and comes back. So still not most of the time range trade. All right, let's look at the Philadelphia index, as I suggested in my previous videos, that it's making a top. It can come back and retest this 5525. It closed at 5541, so 5525 is highly likely. And yes, so that is the previous all-time high. So recent all-time high, I would say that was the high in 2025, even end of 2024 and 2025, and testing that high. So that will have impact on all the semiconductors. All right, so SOXL is coming down, pulling down a bit, right? SOXS, which is the inverse of SOXL. So this is bullish, this is bearish. It's moving a little bit higher, and the volumes are supporting a little bit on the high side. Okay, guys, have a wonderful day. That's all for today, and we will get in touch soon. I will do a weekly piece sometimes today, or if not this today, then I'll do it sometimes at the coming weekend. Have a wonderful day and take care.